Hindu news analysis for August 2023. Today I am going to cover important news articles from the Hindu newspaper dated 2022 of August 2023. Displayed here is a list of news articles that we will be discussing today. You can go through it at end of the video. You will have problems, practice questions. So you try to watch the entire video, and a kind request to you all, those who haven't subscribe to our channel, do subscribe, hit the bell icon button so that you will get the regular notification about our current affairs videos. Now let us get into the first news article discussion. Take a look at this news article. The news is that yesterday the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister lays the foundation stone for Southeast Asia's largest desalination plant in Perur near Chennai. The plant will have a capacity of 400 millions of water per day. The plant will be powered by solar energy, and it is said that the plant will use reverse osmosis technology to desalinate the seawater, and the project is expected to be completed by December 2026. This is the crux of the article given here is in this discussion. Let us what is desalination plant, then about their working principle, and finally let us see the pros and cons of desalination plants. Now let us start with these desalination plants. First of all, know that desalination is a processing of producing drinking water from salt water. The desalination plants are facilities that remove salt from the sea water and brackish water to produce drinking water, and the desalination process has been practiced for centuries, but it has become economically feasible in the recent decades. Only know that there are two main types of desalination process. They are thermal desalination and membrane desalination. The thermal desalination plants use heat to evaporate the seawater, leaving behind the salt. Then the membrane desalination plants use the semi-permeable membranes to filter the salt from seawater. As well, we all know the most commonly used technology for desalination process is reverse osmosis. Now we shall see what is the reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis process is, in simple terms, is the technology that is used to remove the majority of contaminants from water. This is done by pushing the water under pressure through a semi-permeable membrane. Now how does this reverse osmosis work? To have a better understanding, look at this diagram. Here it shows how reverse osmosis process works. Initially, the seawater or brackish water is pumped into the high pressure chamber. See, there is a semi-permeable membrane placed in the chamber, and high pressure is applied on the salt water, and it forces the water molecules to pass through the membrane while the salt molecules are left behind. The filtered water is colored as fresh water, and salt containing water that is left behind is called brine. A note that there are different types of reverse osmosis membranes that are used in desalination plants. The most common type of reverse osmosis is membranes of cellulose acetate and polyamide. The microscopy pores in these membranes allow only water molecules to pass through and not any impurities. So this helps in producing a clean drinking water from the seawater. Okay. I hope you understand about reverse osmosis process and about desalination plants. Now let us move on into see about the advantages of desalination plants. Firstly, desalination can provide reliable source of drinking water in areas that are in with limited freshwater resources. Secondly, desalination can be used to produce a clean water for industrial and agricultural use. As the RO process used in desalination are becoming increasingly affordable, they are currently used in many fields. Then the third important significant is that desalination plants can help to improve the public health by providing access to safe drinking water. This is especially important in areas where the waterborne diseases are common. Even though desalination plants have many advantages, there are still some concerns surrounding desalination plants. The first concern is desalination plants are expensive to build and operate. Secondly, desalination plants uses a lot of energy which can contribute to climate change. Note that Energy cost accounts for 1/3 and 1/2 of the total cost of producing desalinated water. So it is an energy intensive process. And thirdly, the environmental impacts of desalination plants are huge. As we saw earlier, the concentrated salt water called brine water was a byproduct of desalination process. See, the release of this wastewater from desalination plant into water bodies is dangerous to marine ecosystem. It can change the salinity and oxygen levels of water, which in turn can kill the marine life. So desalination plants can also have environmental impact. And finally, the desalination process itself produces number of chemicals like chlorine, carbon dioxide, and hydrochloric acid, etc. These chemicals can be harmful to the environment in the high concentration. So it is important to carefully consider these environmental impacts before building a desalination plant. For example, the brine water can be treated to reduce its salinity before letting into water bodies. Overall, the desalination is a valuable tool for providing access to drinking water. In areas with limited freshwater sources, the desalination plants can help us to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 6, which is to ensure the access to water and sanitation for all. And that's all regarding this discussion. We saw about desalination process, then we saw about the reverse osmosis technology, and finally we saw some points about advantage and disadvantages associated with desalination plants. With these points in mind, let us move on into the next news article discussion. Take a look at the news articles. According to the news article, the Commerce Ministry of India, the ASEAN nations have agreed to review their free trade agreement for goods. They have set to 2025 as deadline for finishing the review, and the main motive of this review is to address the imbalance in the bilateral trade. And this is all about the news article given here. Now in this context, let us understand ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asia Asian Nations, which is shortly known as ASEAN, is a regional intergovernmental organization. It was established on 18th August 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. The ASEAN is established with the signing of ASEAN Declaration, which is popularly known as Bangkok Declaration. Now that Secretary of ASEAN is situated in Jakarta. Now talking about the members of ASEAN, see, the founding members of ASEAN includes Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Month later, the Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia were joined as a full-time members. Therefore, at present, there are totally 10 full-time members in ASEAN. And note that India is not a member of ASEAN, but it is a dialogue partner of ASEAN. Okay, now talking about the chairmanship of ASEAN. See, the chairmanship of ASEAN rotates annually according to the alphabetical order of English names of the member states. And know that Indonesia currently holds the ASEAN chairmanship, that is for 2023. Now we look at the ASEAN Summit Civilization Summit. Is held twice annually. The ASEAN Summit is highest policy making body in ASEAN. It comprises of head of the states or government of member states. Remember, the ASEAN Summit is hosted by the member state who is holding the ASEAN membership. This is all about ASEAN. Now let us see some of the important aims and purposes of ASEAN one by one. Firstly, the main purpose of the ASEAN is to promote the economic and security cooperations among its member states. Secondly, ASEAN aims to promote the regional peace and stability through abiding respect for justice and rule of law. Then thirdly, ASEAN aims to accelerate the economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the Southeast Asian region. This is done through a joint endeavor in the spirit of equality and partnership. Then fourthly, ASEAN aims to promote the active collaboration and mutual assistance on matters of common interest in economic and social, cultural, and technical and administrative fields. And finally, the ASEAN aims to provide assistance to each other in the form of training and research facilities in the educational, professional, and technical administrative spheres. Okay, this is all about the important aims and purposes of ASEAN. Now finally, let us see some points about India-ASEAN partnership. Creation is India's fourth largest trading partner. India has also signed a free trade agreement in 29 goods in 2009, and later fleeted agreement in service and investment were also signed in 2014. ASEAN and India is also adopted a joint statement announcing the elevation of existing strategic planship to comprehensive strategic partnership. Okay, that is all regarding this discussion. In this discussion about formation of ASEAN, what the important aims and purposes of ASEAN, and with these in mind, let us move on into the next news article. Let's take a look at the editorial. Here see, beginning from the today, that is from August 2022-2024, the BRICS summit is going to happen in South Africa. Because of this only, this editor has written this article. Author of the editorial says that the BRICS summit would provide an opportunity for India to showcase its diplomacy, and it will also provide a chance to India to shape the geopolitics. Okay, now using this as an opportunity, let us first understand the basics of BRICS, then we will see the importance of BRICS for India, then challenges faced by BRICS, and finally let us see what can be done to strengthen the BRICS. Now before getting into the discussion, the syllabus regarding this discussion is highlighted here. You can go through it. And now let us start with BRICS as an acronym for grouping of world's leading emerging economies, which include Brazil, Russia, India and China and South Africa. Originally the term BRICS was coined by British economist Jim O'Neill in 2001 to describe the four emerging economies of Brazil, Russia, India and China. However, this grouping was formalized during the first meeting of BRICS for foreign ministers in 2006. Following the first BRICS summit was held in Russia in 2009. Later, after arriving at their consensus among the BRICS leaders, South Africa was invited to join the forum on 24th December 2010. And later South Africa joined the group, and group was turned into BRICS, and this is how BRICS was formed. Also, remember, there is no formal application process to join the BRICS, but the government must resume the anonymous backing from all existing BRICS members to receive an invitation to join the BRICS. Okay, now let us see some data about BRICS nations. As of now, BRICS nations are home to 14% of global population, and it accounts for about 60%, 41%, and accounts for 16% of global trade and 31.5% of global GDP, and expectation of 50% of global GDP by 2030. Global GDP compared to 37.5% by G7 countries. So the share of BRICS nations in global GDP is higher than G7 itself. The BRICS is expected to contribute over 50% of the global GDP by 2030. Okay, and now talking about the chairmanship. See, the chairmanship of BRICS forum rotated annually amongst the members. This is in accordance with the acronym of the BRICS. For example, in 2021, BRICS summit was chaired by India. Then in 2022, summit was chaired by China, and in this year 2023, South Africa is holding the chair. Okay, this is how the chairman of the forum is rotated annually. Now talking about the objectives of the BRIC. See, the primary objective of BRIC grouping is to promote the peace and security and development and cooperation. Apart from this, the BRICS also aims at contributing significantly to the development of humanity and establishing a more equitable and fairer world. Okay, these are about the objectives of the BRICS. Now with these basics, let us see the importance of BRICS. For India, see, the BRICS holds a significant importance for India due to several lessons. Now let us look at the reasons one by one. First reason is economic opportunities. See, BRICS provides India access to large market of emerging economies. This creates an avenue for India for increased trade investment and economic growth. Secondly, it provides a diplomatic platform for India to engage with other major global players. This allows India to assert its interest on international stage. And thirdly, India can benefit from technology and knowledge exchanges with the fellow member countries of the BRICS, and this helps India to accelerate its development process. Finally, India can use BRICS as a platform to advocate for the reforms in the global financial institutions, then in the United Nations Security Council also, to enhance its voice in the global decision making. Okay, this is all about the significance of the BRICS. For India now, let us move on to see about India's contribution in BRICS. Is the proposal of new development bank. The proposal was submitted by India at the 4th summit hosted by India in New Delhi in March 2012. After several rounds of negotiation and finance minister meeting, the agreement for setting up of the bank was signed at that 6th summit in Brazil in July 2014. See, the purpose of new development bank is to embrace the resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects in emerging markets and developing countries. And note that the new development bank has its headquarters in Shanghai and the regional office is in South Africa. Note an important point here. The first president of the new development bank is from India. Okay, this is one contribution of India. Apart from this, India also added the urbanization forum to BRICS cooperation and mechanisms. This forum focuses on BRICS cooperation to learn from each other's experience in tackling the challenges of rapid urbanization faced by all BRICS member countries. Okay, in addition to this, India also have proposed important initiatives in order to strengthen into BRICS cooperation. The initiative was proposed that 6th BRICS summit in July 2014. These initiatives include establishing online education and affordable healthcare platform, a virtual BRICS university, BRICS language school cooperation in small and medium enterprises, tourism, youth exchange, youth scientist forum, and disaster management. Okay, this is all about the India's contribution in BRICS. Now moving on to see about the challenges faced by the BRICS grouping. BRICS grouping. See, the member countries of the BRICS have diverse economic and political strategic interest. These factors challenges arriving of consensus on certain issues. Secondly, there is economic disparities among the member countries of the BRICS. This can impact the group's ability to formulate the unified economic strategies. Thirdly, BRICS operates in a world which is dominated by a established power. This makes it challenging for the BRICS to achieve its desired reforms. Okay, so these are the challenges that are faced by BRICS grouping. What can be done to strengthen the BRICS? See, member countries should deepen the cooperation in trade and technology innovation and sustainable development. This will strengthen the relationship between the BRICS countries. Secondly, the member countries should prioritize the common goals like financial reforms, climate action, and promoting multipolar and this will also help in BRICS countries to work together on common issues. Thirdly, the people-to-people ties should be strengthened, strengthening the cultural and academic exchanges. This would build the understanding and strong relationship among the peoples of member countries. Finally, the BRICS grouping should stay flexible and open to adjusting strategies to address the evolving global dynamics. Okay, if the BRICS engage in these activities, it will strengthen the relationship between the BRICS nations. And that's all regarding this discussion. This discussion is about basics of BRICS, and then we saw about the significance of BRICS for India and the new absurd India's contribution in BRICS. Then we moved on to see about the challenges faced with the BRICS grouping, and finally we saw some points about what can be done to strengthen the BRICS. And see, this topic is very much important for your mains exam. You can use these points while writing your mains answers. Now with these points in the mind, let us move on into the next news article discussion and take a look at this news article. Recently, 27th edition of Malabar naval exercise concluded on east coast of Australia near Sydney. The exercise involved over 20 ships and 30 aircrafts and over 3,000 personnel from Australia, India, Japan and United States. Note that for F-35 fighter jets of Australia joined the exercise for the first time. These F-35 are the most advanced fight results in the world, and their participation in the Malabar exercise is a sign of growing cooperation between the four countries. And this is all about the news article. Now in this discussion, let us understand some points about Malabar exercise. Now first let us start with the history of Malabar exercise. Malabar exercise is a naval exercise involving the four countries, namely United States, India, Japan, Australia, and Texas. Was first held in 1992 as a bilateral exercise between India and US. From 2002 onwards, the exercise has been conducted every year. Since the Japan joined the exercise only in 2015, making it a trilateral exercise, and then asked to on the exercise in 2022, Australia joined, making it 4, and the Malabar exercise now has the participation of all members of Quad grouping as well. As we all know, the quadrants of India, Australia, US, Japan. Okay, now where will the nexus takes place? Exercise typically held in Indian Ocean or in the Pacific Ocean. This year the exercise was hosted by Australia, and this is the first time Australia is hosting Malabar exercise. Note that the exercise is held annually, and it is designed to improve the interactions between the navies of the four countries. And now with this information, let us see the significance of Malabar exercise. Firstly, the Malabar exercise demonstrates the commitment of the four countries to security and stability in the Pacific region of the exercise. Sends a strong message to China that the countries of Indo-Pacific are united in their commitment to rule-based international order. See, the Malabar exercise is seen as a way to deter the China's aggressive behavior in the Indo-Pacific region. Okay, tries to maintain the security and stability in the Pacific region, and this is the first significance. Secondly, the Malabar exercise is designed to improve the interoperability between the navies of four countries. This means that Malabar exercise helps the navies of four countries to work together and more efficiently during the crisis. This is the second significance. Thirdly, in the Malabar exercise helps to build a confidence between the navies of the four countries. Next says allows the navies to share information on best practices. In addition to this, the exercise helps to develop the common operating procedure. Then fourthly, the Malabar exercise is a symbol of growing cooperation between the four countries, and this cooperation is important because it helps to promote the peace and stability in the Pacific region. And this is all about the significance of the Malabar exercise. Now overall, the Malabar exercise is a significant event in the Indo-Pacific region because it maintains the balance of power and it enhances the mutual understanding between the four countries. That is India, Japan, Australia, and US. And that is all regarding this discussion. This discussion we saw history of Malabar exercise, and then we saw about the significance of Malabar exercise. And see, you can use these points in your mains answers, and this will definitely in your mains answers. Now with these points in mind, let us move on into the next news article. Take a look at this news article. The news is that yesterday a woman and her baby were crushed to death in the landslip that happened in this district of Uttarakhand. In addition to this, landslip also buried several other vehicles. The government said that the search operation is undergoing to find more victims, and this is all about the news. Now let us see what is landslide, then what is landslip, and then about the causes and effects of landslide and landslip. Now first let us see about landslide. See, landslide is a mass movement of rock and soil and any other debris down the slope. The landslides can vary in size from small localized slides to large catastrophic events that can destroy the entire communities. Note that landslides are a major cause of natural disasters worldwide, and it is said that the landslides are responsible for an estimated 25,000 deaths each year, and it can cause damages of millions of dollars in. Okay, now where the landslides takes place. Landslides can occur anywhere in the world, but they are most common in mountainous areas, coastal regions, and areas that have recently experienced heavy rains or earthquakes. Okay, these are the about landslides. Now what is landslip? See, the landslide and landslip might look like very similar term, but there is a slight difference. See, landslip is a type of landslide that involves a slow continuous movement of soil and rock down the slope. Here the main difference between the landslip and the landslide is that landslip is a slow continuous movement of materials down in the slope, while a landslide is a sudden rapid movement of materials down a slope. Okay, this is the major difference between the landslip and landslides. Now with this information, let us see the causes of landslips and landslides. The first important cause is the heavy rainfall. See, the landslides can be triggered by heavy rainfall because the rain can saturate the ground and make it more likely to slide. Okay, second important cause is snow melting. See, the landslide can also triggered by snow melt, which can add water to the ground and increase the risk of sliding in high mountainous region. Then the third important comes the landslide as earthquake. See, the landslide can be caused by earthquake because they can shake the ground and destabilizes the slopes of the hills, and this leads to sliding of the rocks and soil down the slope. Next important cause is volcanic activity. See, the landslide can also be caused by volcanic activity, which can create unstable slopes and trigger a landslides. And finally, human activities is also contribute to landslides. Human activities such as deforestation, construction of dams and buildings, and mining can trigger landslides, and these activities can remove the vegetation and other stabilizing factors from slopes, making them more likely to slide. Okay, these are the causes of landslides. Now, causes of landslide, let us see the effects of landslide. See, the landslides can cause variety of damages. Firstly, the landslides leads to death and injury of people living near the mountains. Then the next important effect is economic damage. See, the landslides leads to property damage. Landslides can have a significant economic impact on the communities. They can destroy the businesses, and then they can disrupt the transportation and damage the infrastructure. So the cost for repairs and cleanup will be huge. It will take a lot of time. Then its next time is next effect is infrastructure damage. See, the landslide can damage the roads, bridges and other infrastructure. They can also block the roads, railways and other transportation routes. And finally, the landslides can cause environmental damage, and the landslides can pollute the waterways and then damage the ecosystem, and it displaces the wildlife of the particular region. Apart from this, the landslides can also trigger other natural hazards such as floods, mud flows. Okay, now so these are the effects of landslides and landslips. That's all regarding this discussion. In this discussion, we saw about what is landslide, then you saw about what is landslip, and effects and causes and the effects of the landslip and landslide. And these points in mind, let us move on into the next part of the video, that is to discuss the preliminary practice questions. Today we are having 4 questions. I will solve 3 of them. One will be a quiz question for you. And now look at the first question. This question is regarding reverse osmosis technology. Here 4 options are given. We have to find the option which is not correct about the reverse osmosis. Look at the first option. Reverse osmosis is a membrane based separation process that uses the pressure to force the water molecules through a semi permeable membrane. Actually, this option explains the reverse osmosis, the process, so this option is correct. Now coming to the second option, reverse osmosis is a more energy efficient process than distillation. See, this option is incorrect. Reverse osmosis is a more energy intensive process than distillation. It is not an energy efficient process. This is because the reverse osmosis requires the use of pump to pressurize the water, while distillation does not require any pump. So second option is incorrect about reverse osmosis, but we need to verify whether other options are correct or not. Now coming to the third option, reverse osmosis can be used to produce drinking water from seawater. It is one of the applications of reverse osmosis, so this third option is correct. And the last option, reverse osmosis can be used to produce water for industrial and agricultural use. Yes, see, this option is also correct. The water produced using reverse osmosis technology can be used for industrial and agricultural purposes. So this fourth option is also correct. So the correct answer is option B. More energy efficient process than distillation. Actually, this statement is only incorrect. Moving on to the, let's take up the second question. This is regarding landslides and lands. 4 options are given. We have to find how many of the options are correct. Look at the first statement. They can occur on gentle slopes during any season. The statement is correct. The landslides occur on the slopes during rainy seasons. Now coming to the second options. Earthquake and volcanoes can trigger the landslides. See, this option is correct. Natural resources like earthquake and volcanoes can also occur, causes landslides. So second option is correct. Now coming to the third option, vegetation helps to stabilize the slopes and prevents the landslides. See, this statement is also correct. As we saw this discussion, vegetation also helps to establish the slopes and it also prevents the landslides. Coming to the fourth option, landslides can occur underwater and in any part of the world. See, this statement is also correct. Earthquakes occur under oceans can induce landslides underwater, and these landslides are called submarine landslides. The landslides can also occur in any part of the world. So fourth option statement is also correct. Here all the given 4 statements are correct. So correct answer for the question is option D. For all 4, moving on, let's take a final question. Here ASEAN member countries are given. We have to find how many who among the are landlocked. It does not have a coastline along the South China Sea. Now look at this map. Here Vietnam is landlocked country, not a landlocked country. It is open to seas. If you have the Indonesia, is also not a landlocked country. Now coming to the Laos. See, the Laos is only a landlocked country and it does not have any coastline along the South China Sea. If you take Cambodia is not a landlocked country. So the correct option is option C. Okay. Next quiz for the day is given here. Post your answers in the comment section for both prelims and mains. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask your doubts in the comment section. Your answer, interested aspirants can post your answers in the comment section. If you like the video, if you like, comment and share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.